Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Eagles Nest. Guys, I know it's been quite some time since we have gotten together, but I'm absolutely excited. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Sports Lounge Media for powering the Eagles Nest. Guys, can't thank them enough. Also, let's say a big thank you to our sponsors, the Mogul brand, as well as the Diamond Collection. Thank you guys so much and welcome. Tonight I got my main man, down south of Philly right here. We're going to be talking about the Birds, a little bit of OTAs. We've got the Bryce Huff news that dropped, as well as some other, tidbits here and there for the Birds with Kevin Patul becoming his first media stint. But guys, it's exciting times right now. The OTAs are rocking and rolling publicly for the Philadelphia Eagles. We've got a lot of news dropping. Bryce Huff just got dealt out, and we will get to that. But I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to my man down south. You guys already know where to find my man, one of the premier Eagles content creators on the market, and one of the best the Sports Lounge Media has to offer. So, my man, go ahead. Appreciate you for coming on tonight. How you feeling?
Hey man, I said it once before. This is no better time to be an Eagles fan than right now. We've witnessed both of the Super Bowls that this franchise history. So times are good right now.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with him, man. Right now, things are rocking and rolling. We have an organization I believe is built to last. So let's jump right into it, guys. As of right now, Kevin Patul does his first media stint talking about, what he's going to bring to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think that it's going to be a lot of the same, right? I don't think that what we're going to do offensively is really going to change drastically. That's just my personal opinion. I think that it's going to be a lot of downhill running. It's going to be a lot of RPO game, and then quick shots down the field, with our deep threats in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I think it's huge that we get Dallas Goedert back on contract. That's going to be he's a huge part of what we do offensively. And the offensive line looks to be as stout as it always has been, with everybody returning outside of Mekhi Becton. Tyler Steen looks to has that number one spot locked up right now, but it is only day one of OTAs, so there's a lot left to go. But Kevin Patul released some statements regarding it, saying, and I quote, that him and Nick Sirianni see things very similarly, but their minds function in different ways. So essentially what that tells me is that Kevin Patul is going to run a very similar style offense to what Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore like to do, with his own little adds of twists. You know what I mean? And when you have Jalen Hurts, a guy that can adapt to any offensive system, it's really not that hard to run an offense. And you have the best running back in football in Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, man. Couple things about Kevin. For one, I think we all can kind of be gun shy about what happened in 23, right? New offensive coordinator. But we forget that our offense actually wasn't that bad. It was our defense that was the problem that year. So
Yep.
while yes, we ended up having the huge collapse that everybody keeps talking
We
about.
call it the great collapse
Yeah,
of
but
2023.
offense really was never the problem. We could have ran the ball more. But fast forward to now, right? We still have we just as explosive as we were last year. We didn't lose anything outside of Mekhi Becton. And coming into this time last year, Tyler Steen had the position. Like he literally won the position, then he got hurt like two times,
Yeah.
and
Last
that's what
OTAs, he
left
had
the
it locked
door.
up.
That's what left the door open for Becton to, come in and grab that spot. So um I suspect us to be full speed ahead, coming in. Of course, we're gonna be a little sluggish just from the fact of they just don't play in the preseason anymore, right? So we kind of use that first month as our preseason. Unfortunately for us, we hit the ground rolling with our schedule. We really don't have time to breathe. So, of course, we already know we got Dallas, we got Kansas City, we got the Rams right in the first 3 weeks of the season. So, with that being said, we really don't have enough time to slip up, but I'm feeling good about it.
Agreed. And he's right. We don't really have a lot of time to work out the kinks, essentially, especially the NFL made sure that we didn't have any back to back home games. So we are going to be constantly at home and then on the road. With a bye week kind of sprinkled in between, you got your first four games. You got Tampa Bay, who routinely beats you in the road. You got, Dallas coming in healthy at home. You got Kansas City on the road. And then if I'm not mistaken, we had the Rams
The
during that stretch.
Rams.
Yeah, but so we got the Rams at home. So the Rams, that's going to be a tough one. Obviously, they want to see revenge for the divisional round matchup. So the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have a lot to figure out in a short amount of time. And I think that we're going to keep it very simple. The formula is going to be the same, just like Downside said. It's going to be run the football, get the football downfield off the play action, and with the RPO game, quick game. Interesting to see some new faces. We have Anais Smith and Johnny Wilson, some guys that can get worked in there. We just brought in the Quincy kid as a returner. corner. So it's interesting to see what kind of, wrinkles they can be in the offense. From what I understand from OTAs, Will Shipley has gotten a lot of catches out of the backfield. So maybe look for him to get a little more involved, because I do think Saquon Barkley's rushing total is going to see a decrease this season because we are going to
I
have to
hope so.
preserve him. And we bring in AJ Dillon, right, who is a 6'1", 250-pound running back. Use that man. Now he's running behind the best offensive line in football. I think that you cut back Saquon Barkley's total carries and give the ball to AJ Dillon a little bit. It'll be up to AJ Dillon to make the most of those opportunities. But speaking of OTAs, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of year where we finally get to see the Philadelphia Eagles practice publicly. I follow some really, really prominent figures on Twitter, Jeff McClain, some of those guys that I trust and are vetted sources, seeing how I'm in Florida and can't attend OTAs. Some of the names that didn't appear at the first days of OTAs, Devontae Smith, personal reasons, Avery Williams, personal reasons, Reed Blankenship, and Lane Johnson were not there. Obviously, Bryce Huff was not a big surprise to Eagles fans. And the following because of injury: Nakobe Dean, Jahad Campbell, Ben Van Summerlin, who, by the way, is transitioning from linebacker to fullback.
Big fullback.
It looks like we are going to bring the fullback position back, which is really exciting from a rushing perspective. But Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens were also absent from that first OTAs due to, we both know, what they dealt with in the Super Bowl with torn knee muscles. And with Cam with his back. So those guys didn't practice, not cause for alarm, obviously. Jalen Hurts didn't throw to any of his first team guys on that first one. And I believe he went 20 of 21, 0 touchdowns, but 20 of 21, I'll take that. That's crisp. That's clean right out of the gate. You got Tanner McNee, who kind of tore it up, right? 14 of 18, a touchdown, no interceptions. Very good day from Tanner. That makes me happy to see that he can just roll right back into what the offense is asking him to do. DTR went 2 of 2, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and Kyle McCord got one opportunity. One opportunity, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So it looks like as of right now, out of 42 attempts, 39 completions. That's pretty dang good. I'll take that. The quarterbacks look very polished, very sharp. And like I said earlier, from what I understand, Will Shipley was getting a lot of time with the ones in this OTA. It makes sense. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is the guy. But get some of these young guys some reps, right? Get them used and comfortable to what it is we're trying to get them to do. And as for the offensive line, as of right now, Jordan Mailata practiced. And Tyler Steen were also looks to have that right guard spot. He got the nod over Kenyon Green for the starting right guard position, so he's going to be rocking and rolling there. The rest was sprinkled in with second teamers, as we know. Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and Lane Johnson were all absent. So the offensive line, as it sits right now, looks like it's going to be Jordan, Landon, Cam, Tyler, and Lane, if everything pans out the way we think it does without injury. So how do we feel about the quarterback's performances out of OTA with the the sharpness?
Well, it's camp. We got to take it with a grain of salt. So we always want to hear that it's sharp, of course. Everything sounds good in camp. Last year, Jalen did rip it up as well. Very rarely do you hear, unless a player is just having like an awful camp, it's going to be, primarily good. It's 7-on-7 and not a lot of contact. So this is what we want to hear, the only thing that can derail us is an injury. So as long as we don't have any big injuries coming out of camp, this is what, you want to hear.
100%. Very happy. That's the main priority of camp, is to get the new guys equated with the offense, shake off the rust, and don't get hurt. That's the biggest parts of it. But speaking on 7-on-7, my man touched on a perfect point for a transition into the next section. Guys, the 7-on-7 starting secondary looked a little shaken up, okay? Right now, as it stood, Andrew Mukuba, okay? The second-round draft pick for the Philadelphia Eagles got starting reps at safety. This is an incredible sign, seeing how Vic Fangio runs an extremely complex secondary system. I mean, that's pretty big to see a rookie safety, getting starting reps within that system, because Sidney Brown was not hurt. He played the other safety spot with Reed Blankenship being out, right? And we still have a couple other guys back there. So big news that Andrew Mukuba is getting starting reps. I love to hear that, him getting early equated with Vic Fangio's defense that can take some time to understand. I mean, you have Justin Simmons saying that he still doesn't even fully understand it, and he spent 3 or 4 years in the system. So big news for Andrew Mukuba. At the corner spot, we had Quinyon Mitchell obviously playing the first, but he said in press conference that he did get reps at both sides. So it kind of sounds like we can shade him to whichever side we need him, because as you guys know, Vic Fangio runs a 3-4 shell defense, a lot of nickel, a lot of dime. But as the base sits, the Eagles don't play a lot of base defense. About 81% of their defensive snaps came out of the nickel last season. So I think that, that's a lot of what we're going to spend time in. But the base defense right now, it had Cooper DeJean playing cornerback 2. Okay. Quinyon playing the 3 or the 1. And then Adoree Jackson playing that slot spot in the base defense. I do look for that to change up in nickel. I think that Cooper will get, from what I understand from OTAs, Cooper gets bumped to the slot. Adoree right now is getting the nod over Keely Ringo, but they are sharing snaps frequently, from what I understand, very equally, very frequently. But Keely Ringo or Adoree Jackson, if it's any consolation, did get the starting nod to go out with the ones when it came to the 7-on-7s. But it's just like my man down said, it's the first day of a public OTAs. You got to take it with a grain of salt. These are not what the final roster spots are going to look like. They have a very long way to go until September 4th when it's time to suit up. So as it stands right now, you got Adoree Jackson out there getting reps, Sidney Brown getting reps at safety, Andrew Mukuba getting reps. How do we feel about Andrew Mukuba? Are we comfortable, with him seeing true starting time?
Oh, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's not like we have a lot of depth at safety and cornerback outside of the obvious starters. So we got to get these guys up to speed, especially if we end up not signing any other vets. So I
Right.
mean, it's kind of the going rate. They have to. I think Vic, he likes to have multiple schemes going, whatever it entails that week. So the rookies, if you want to play, you got to be up to speed. As we saw last year, Q slid right in there. Also DeJean slid right in there. So we can't expect every rookie to, be up to speed that quick, but we have seen rookies, excel at a high level. So there's no reason that Mukuba can't do the same.
100% agree. I think that it is a try by fire basis right now
Mhm.
because we don't really, like you said, we don't really have a lot of depth there. There's not a lot of guys that could just step in. And if we don't sign a veteran presence, Andrew Mukuba is going to have to see starting reps in that rotational role along with Sidney Brown. So I think that it's good to see a rookie this early getting reps with the ones. I think it just makes him even more ready for when it's time and his numbers called come September 4th. So I completely agree. We move down to the defensive line. The defensive line has looked pretty dominant. Obviously for OTAs, the defensive line is kind of a sour spot because they can't really hit each other. So there's a name that a lot of us know as the Vanilla Gorilla. This kid has been tearing camp up. Very violent with his hands. Great effort. Apparently he's played both inside at the shade as well as out to the 3. Hasn't played a lot of edge 5, and that's not surprising. We have guys out there. We're going to see Ty Robinson play anywhere from the 2-eye all the way to the 4-eye. That's he's going to be anywhere in between there. And for all of you that are new to football conceptual situations, the 2-eye would be the inside shoulder of the guard, 4-eye would be the inside shoulder of the tackle. So anywhere in between that, he could end up depending on what the defense calls for. Man, Ty Robinson, he's a name that I am really looking for on defense. I think he's a guy that can make an immediate impact along the defensive line. I mean, Jalen Carter is obviously a top 5 defensive tackle playing football right now. And you add a kid that has this kind of upside, obviously he's still got to do it. So let's not pump his horn too quick. But man, I really like what I've been seeing. And I know you have too.
Yeah, man, that's my favorite pick out of the draft personally. I call him Ty Dolla Sign. So that's what my affectionately that's gonna be my name for him. Hopefully he earns the right to keep that name. But yeah, I'm excited about him. We talked about him on a previous stream, but he's got all the measurables that you want. Had an impressive senior year, but let's see if it translates over. I trust Clint Hurt, man. He's one of those ones where you just don't worry about his guys. His guys are going to be right where they need to be, just like Stoutland University. We're good in the trenches, man. I'm excited.
I couldn't agree. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to be a very hard football team to run on, and their pass rush is going to be deadly. That brings me to another name that we've kind of been hearing a lot out of camp. Jalyx Hunt has also been very active at the edge position. Okay, he had 3 sacks the other day in 7-on-7s, one of them coming on Jalen Hurts. He even said in presser that he feels much more comfortable within the what he's being asked to do from Vic Fangio. He said that he has more personality to his pass rush now rather than it being a cookie cutter type thing. That tells me that the game's starting to slow down for him. He understands what he needs to do, and now he can play how he plays. And that's what you want out of your young guys. Another name that I'm extremely excited for is Jalyx Hunt, as well as some of the other guys we brought in Joshua Uche and Ojulari. Seeing both of those guys get in the rotation will be great. But man, the defensive line has got to be my favorite part of this defense right now. It looks like it is going to be formidable. I cannot wait for that. Outside of that, man, the OTAs have been going very well. We're very excited. A lot of new guys, a lot of new faces. Vic Fangio, Kevin has got year 2 in his system. Kevin Patul in his first year of the system, and everything looks crisp and clean for the most part. We also have something to talk about in the front office. Howie Roseman had dropped major news today whenever he traded our brand new pass rusher in Bryce Huff. Everybody knows that, Bryce Huff hasn't exactly panned out in Philadelphia, but I do want to say a quick thank you to Bryce Huff and what he did do for Philly. Thank you for coming and being a part of the Philadelphia Eagles and making them better. But guys, it is absolutely official. Bryce Huff is being dealt to the San Francisco 49ers for a mid-round draft pick. The details of the draft pick have not been released yet, but this is gonna help the Philadelphia Eagles long term. Okay, this was a mistake that Howie Roseman made financially. It's just something that didn't pan out. And rather than sit on it and dwell, right, and say, "Oh no, like I didn't do good. I need to re-sign him and give him another chance." He's just moving on, and he's gonna have Bryce Huff reunite with his guy Robert Saleh back in San Francisco. But in doing so, he also clears up over $13 million in cap space. We do absorb the $7 million cap hit, but it ends up being what was it? 3 or 4 million extra that we get in cap space, and we get a 13th pick added to the 12 that we already had. So leave it to Howie Roseman to take a really piss poor situation and just expertly handle it to get value for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, man, just another one. We spoke about it earlier on a post, but kind of indifferent about this one. I was actually kind of looking forward to seeing him turn the corner this year. Last year was just disappointing. For one, him being in the shadow of Hassan Reddick, we had just traded him. And then his contract, right? We gave him a big contract, and with big contracts come big expectations. He was in a new system. He got hurt, so he never really got a chance to really show us what he could do in Midnight Green. But at the end of the day, Howie is Howie, right? He got some value out of him. He's still young. So we'll see. We'll see. Best of luck to him in San Francisco, but he don't wear the colors no more. So
but so not that we can't. I mean, he didn't do anything, in my opinion, for us to be like, I can't rock with you. Like, good luck wherever you go next. How do we think he's going to fare in a Robert Sales system in San Francisco? He gets to go and reunite with a guy that he understands. I think that this is a good landing spot for him. He's going to get to go and play with Nick Bosa. And some of these other young cats the San Francisco 49ers, I felt, did a great job in the draft bringing youth to the defensive line. They brought some big youth names to the defensive line. I think this is a really good spot for my man Bryce Huff. I'm very happy that he went somewhere where I feel like all of his skills are going to be utilized, because at the same time, I understand he was injured. He didn't really get a lot of snaps. And a lot of people say he didn't really get a fair shot. He was new. The system was new. At the same time, Zach Bond was new to the system too, and he ended up being a first-team All-Pro, right? Quinyon Mitchell was a rookie in a brand new, complicated secondary system. He, in my opinion, was a top 5 corner last year. And then you have C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who was brand new to this system as well, ended up being one of the better safeties. So I think in terms of, I think he just didn't catch on. Like you said, he spent a lot of time hurt, and that just kind of derailed him.
Yeah, I still, and this is going to be an understatement, I expected him to have a better year this year. With him being healthy, another year in Fangio's system. But at the end of the day, everybody's different. Some players catch on quick, some players need that development. But we did see when he put his hand in the ground after the bye, he had more production. So
when he played that 3
we know he could have had had 6 to 10 stacks if he didn't get hurt. So we'll never know at this point. So like we said, best of luck to him. I fully expect him to, have success in, 49ers. Salah just seems to be in his
Understanding.
bag.
Mhm.
He understands them, but he's just a better defensive coordinator than he is head coach, obviously. Um,
Agreed.
so I expect him to bounce back.
Agreed. I think that that's a really good landing spot for him. Not upset at all. Not surprised. A lot of Eagles fans kind of knew that this was the direction we were going to head, but some of us, you know, I wouldn't have mind seeing him on the roster again. It wouldn't have
Right.
made me upset. It's just more depth, right? It's just another guy to have on the roster. Now, obviously, if he's not with the program and he's not like, gelled with the guys, then that's a problem. But I don't necessarily know that that would have been an issue. Vic Fangio is kind of a no BS kind of guy. You're gonna have to get with it or you're gone. And we've seen what happened. Now he's gone. Best of luck to him. Best of wishes to him. But guys, that's really all the Philadelphia Eagles news that we have right now. The offseason, obviously, I know is a little bit dry. So in terms of bringing you the most up-to-date Philadelphia Eagles news, you got myself, you got my man down south. We are going to make sure that you are covered at every single turn when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, guys. I'm really excited to get these things rocking and rolling. I can't wait for the regular season, man. The regular season is going to be a lot of fun. September 4th can't come soon enough. I go to bed every night and I mark a day off my calendar, getting ready for the opener, man. I know
Are
you're
you gonna be
excited too.
there?
Yep, I will be in Philadelphia for that one. Yep, I are you?
I'm thinking about it, man. I need to get. I mean, I need to get my tickets. That's the
Yeah,
only.
yeah.
That's the only way that'll
I
guarantee it, right?
I think I will be there with the in the sports lounge capacity. So I will
Okay.
I'll be there in a sports lounge capacity. So I'll be at work, but work.
Either way,
I
either
love
way,
what I do.
we'll
I
make it
love what
happen.
we do. So is it really work? You know what I mean? Gonna get to do a
No.
lot of fan interviews, hopefully some player interviews, that kind of stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. I'm interested to get my first game in the link, man. I call
Same, me
myself a
too.
Philadelphia Eagles fan and haven't been to the link yet. So
I know. I
we both
never. I
need
haven't
to.
been able to afford it. So now, now I'm like, now it's time. Now it's time, baby. I'm going to get them, and it's against Dallas. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
that's a
It's gonna
big
be a
one.
lot of fun. A lot of fun. But guys, I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out, and everybody that watches the restream later the next day. Thank you guys so much for your support. Again, guys, this is the best place to get any kind of sports information. It's the Sports Lounge. There's nobody else. There's no one else that's going to be giving you up-to-date information that's always accurate through vetted sources like we are. We're going to have our own red zone. We've got guys at games. Next season's going to be an absolute joy, and it's you guys that make it happen. So thank you to the audiences that have been supporting us all through this journey. And guys, next season's the limit. The moon is the limit. We are going to take it to an entirely next level. But until then, I want to say thank you to Darren for carving out some time in his busy schedule to come on here and break down OTAs with me and just talk birds. It's always nice to get on here and just talk birds. So, with no further ado, guys, I really appreciate all of you, man. As always, it's Go Birds. I will see you on the next episode. I want to say a quick thank you to our sponsors, the Mogul brand and the Diamond Collection, as well as the Sports Lounge Media for powering the Eagles Nest and allowing me to bring you these videos. I want to say thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one. But as always, it's Go Birds.
Go Birds.